There will be minor and major spoilers ahead for the Blue Lion's route at the end of this video. In order to keep this video as spoiler free as possible, I will give a second warning when the major spoiler happens, again at the end of this video. So I saw this image on my Discord. That's right, your eyes aren't deceiving you. That's a 100% crit cast bar, and the setup for activating this was relatively easy. I'm not sure if anyone else found it first, I'm pretty sure someone has, but this setup was brought to my attention by a user on my Discord who goes by the name Frenchie, who's a big fan of cast bar. When I asked him for his setup, it went down something like this. Cast bar was a War Master, which grants an innate crit bonus of plus 20. A Forged Killer Axe also grants plus 35 crit, S rank in axes grants plus 10 crit, the critical ring grants plus 5 crit, and the combat art Wild Abandon for 5 durability grants plus 30 crit. This combined altogether can get cast bar to reach 100% crit at the cost of durability on his weapon from using the Wild Abandon combat art. This setup isn't unique to cast bar per se, it can be used on basically the entirety of the male cast since War Master is for some reason male locked. But it's easier if a character has proficiencies in axes or fists so you can get into the class as soon as possible. The class progression will look to be something like Noble / Commoner, into Fighter, into Brigand, into Warrior, and finally into War Master while you raise gauntlets on the side of building your axe proficiencies. This kind of setup is much easier to get than I think a lot of people originally thought, and it doesn't rely on abilities like we had to, unlike in Fire Emblem Fates. But this got me thinking, how many more setups for 100% crit can we find in Fire Emblem 3 Houses? The other setup for 100% critical hit does rely on skills and also requires a bit of setup. It's the Wrath build for War Masters. Once you go down to Wrath range, which grants plus 50 critical hit, all you need is a Killer Axe plus or the Killer Gauntlets for plus 35 crit and the innate War Master critical bonus of plus 20 to get you to 105 crit. The benefits of a setup like this is that you don't need to use up weapon durability. All you need to be in is in Wrath range. So you could start with the Wild Abandon setup, and as your health gets lower, you can start using Wrath fueled 100% critical hits. But on the flip side, of course you have to get into Wrath range first, which could be risky. So I recommend pairing up Wrath with Vantage, though when you're in enemy phase you lose out on the plus 50 critical hit. You can use the same setup for different classes, and while you would lose out on the plus 20 critical hit that the War Master class passively provides, the Wrath skill, a battalion that raises crit, S rank in the specific weapon mastery, and a Forged Killer Weapon can get you that 100% critical hit. But the efforts to achieving this is a lot more trouble than it's worth. You're probably just better off staying in War Master to save you a lot of time. Alternatively, I tried to plug in all the numbers as much as I could to see how far I could take this. But with being in Wrath range, a Forged Killer Weapon, War Master critical passive, a critical boosting battalion, S rank in weapon, and a critical ring can get you as high as 130 crit, meaning if you were to get off Wrath range, you'd still be sitting at 80% critical hit on enemy phase. The remaining 20%, even if it isn't the full 20%, could probably be helped out by your dexterity stat. So make sure someone like Caspar is eating his dexterity greens, aka dexterity stat boosters, because he's going to be going to pound town with that 100% critical hit on both phases. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this mini guide on how to get 100% critical hit easily in Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Realistically, this is something that you'll be doing in the late game, since War Master is a master class, but with proper preparation, I can easily see people doing this just as time skip is about to happen. This has been JaeAIK. Thanks for watching, and as always, I hope to see you guys next time.